Overcoming fear. This is part 3. Overcoming fear. Fear, fear, fear. Everyone's got fear about something. Now, when leaving your old life behind to come join the new rich, there's a lot of pushback I hear from people about fears. Certain fears they have. Most of them are rational. But overcoming fears of leaving behind the boring life that you have now to get the life you want. And the life you want does require some sort of sacrifice. You're going to have to give something up to get something. This is one of Newton's simple laws. And you must conquer fear. This does not just apply to business, this applies to all areas of life. Most people, when I tell them, you should quit your job and start a business, they come up with a lot of ideas. They come up with a lot of excuses. Most of that is because fear. They are scared of the uncertain. They fear the unknown, of what might happen to them, to their job, to their life, if they don't have any money coming in. You need to get over fear. You have to overcome that fear you have. Alright, I want you to put it out of your mind. Get rid of it. It's not real. Now, this is easier said than done, I will say. The thing is, when it comes to most people would choose unhappiness over uncertainty. Look at what I said about people's jobs. They would rather stay unhappy in a job where they know every morning they're going to get up, go to work, get a paycheck every single day, rather than the fear of uncertainty. So the fear of unknown is that strong, it is so powerful, that people will actually stay at jobs they hate. They will be unhappy if it means knowing what comes next. Now, there's a very simple way that you can overcome fear, and that is to list out what you're scared of. List out your fears. List out what the worst possible scenario is. And it's by doing that, when you sit there and you list out what you're afraid of and your biggest fear, if you list out your worst possible case scenario, what your brain will actually do was very interesting. Your brain will actually start to come up with ideas on how to fix those problems. So let's say my greatest fear is if I quit my job now, I won't have any money. Oh, what can I do? I have some antiques. I could sell those. I could list things on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. You can make money that way, right? That's just your brain coming up with ideas on how to fix the problem, how to solve it. Fear, for most people, when they tell me all of their fears or the reasons why they should not start a business or pursue this idea or that idea, it doesn't have to be just business. This could be anything. When they tell me their ideas, their fear is disguised as optimistic denial. It is disguised as optimistic denial. You see, the thing is, a lot of people are one of three things. Most people are either too smart for their own good, they're too arrogant, or they're too stupid. Alright? Now, ironically, the first and the third go hand in hand. If you're too smart for your own good, that ironically makes you stupid. Because a lot of people will frame their fears as realistic data, where they'll say, oh no, realistically, this business won't work. Or realistically, that idea, you want to go to this place, you want to go where, you want to do this thing. It doesn't make any sense. They're coming at it from a point of logic. So they're trying to sound smart, but realistically, it's fear. It's fear disguised as optimistic denial. It's the same reason, it's the same way that if people say, no, I didn't get scared and run away. It was a tactical retreat. You know. And, you know, those terms have their place, but it's just to make it look fancy and better. So most people, their fears are not actually justified. They're trying to sound smarter than they really are. And you probably do this too. Your own brain convinces you of ideas that certain things are untrue, or there's no way this person could have made money. There's no way. Because either, oh no, it's genetics, or it's statistically, this person came from a rich background. It's your own brain trying to rationalize it. Your brain will actually do that too. It'll try and rationalize bad things that happen to you. It's the same way, the human brain just does that. Where, if you make a mistake or something, a lot of people, unless, not everyone, but a lot of people, they have a ego complex. I have an ego too. But it's their own brain telling them, if they make a mistake, your brain will actually look for reasons to justify why you did it. Most people are more forgiving of their own mistakes than they are of other people's. Because obviously you know your own brain. But your brain is just coming up with the ideas. Reason number 2 that most people don't quit their jobs is because they think things will get better. This one is very unfounded, and for a few reasons. So number 1, has your life gotten any better in the past year from being at the job you're at? If the answer is no, things probably aren't going to get better later. Now, I know some things take time. Like, clearly, if you're going to school to be a doctor, you work your way up the ladder. You work your way up the ladder to everything. Like, if there's a guy working at the gym and he doesn't see the results in a year, then I would say, okay, well, if you don't see the results in a year, you're probably doing something wrong. But that's exactly my point. Where if you're in a job should never be your end-all, be-all. It should always be a stepping stone to get you to the next thing. You never want to go to just a job and it's like your dead end. Like, unless you have like a lifelong desire, it's like, I want to help people in this arena. Okay, then fine, then do that. But to work at a job at Walmart, you realistically shouldn't stay there for more than a year. Or if you want to be a chef, you work at a restaurant, that should get you jobs at other restaurants. Alright? So this is my point. I'm pretty sure it was Robert Kiyosaki in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about how he worked at a military job, and it was very good, but he wanted bigger and better things. And his dad, when he told his dad, hey, I'm quitting this job to go to another place, his dad was confused. He was like, what are you doing? You have a perfect job here. This should only be a stepping stone. So a job is a stepping stone. So if you have not progressed in your job or made any sort of big advancements, that's a sign that you should quit. You should quit. Because remember, what we as the new rich here are trying to do is get more time and mobility. Those are the 2 things we're trying to get. That's what defines the new rich. That's what separates the new rich from other people. Here is your actionable step that you need to take. You need to define fear to conquer it. What you need to do is list out the things that you're afraid of. At the end of the day, the people who fear do not make any real progress. That, I'd say, is the first step we need to get over, is fear setting, defining fear, defining what actually you're afraid of, and listing it out. And once you do that, you will start to realize that you really have nothing to be afraid of. Or if you do, your brain, like I said, is literally built in, it's smart enough to come up with ideas, to come up with solutions to problems. So your brain will do that just automatically. If you're afraid of not only just starting a business, or let's say talking to a girl, or really doing anything, you want to move to another country, this is your dream life, that's your dream, you want to do it, then you shouldn't be afraid of it. And if you are afraid of it, you need to list out why you're scared and come up with reasons to solve those problems, to come up with solutions to those problems. This is your metaphorical way of dodging bullets. And the thing is, actually, once you start to take risks, you'll begin to see that risks really aren't that scary. But you have to take them in the first place to get to that point. Risks is... what's something... risks like talking to women. Risks like swimming when you've never done before. Jumping into the deep end of the pool. The thing is, the more you do it, the easier it gets. So, realistically, that's good news, right? That should be good news, because that means, I'll just jump in the deep end of the pool more times than I can count, because I'll just only get better and better and better. It's the same way with working out. Like I said, it's the same way with talking to women. It's the same way with a lot of things. And once you realize this, that there's nothing to fear except inaction, you almost become unstoppable, because the world will fear the guy who embraces his mistakes. The world's going to fear you because you constantly jump into the deep end of the pool and you keep making progress. But like I said, actionable step. What I want you to do after you watch this video, literally don't click on another video. Go to Notes, your Notes app. Open your Notes app. Write down things that you are afraid of. If you have a dream or a goal, but you're putting it off, write down the reasons why you haven't done it yet. Why have you done it? Are you afraid of being judged by other people? Are you being judged by your parents, girlfriend, boyfriend, Like a spouse. I'm serious. Realistically. And once you start to set fear and actually define it, it's not that scary at all. Because most people fear the unknown. You shouldn't fear the unknown. You need to fear being unhappy. Being unhappy is worse than not knowing. How do you think people conquered new lands? How do you think our ancestors went to new places and journeyed there, went on a voyage? They didn't know, but they were unhappy where they were. So they need to go into the unknown. You need to start embracing the unknown, and that's by giving it a face, so you can know what you're afraid of.